This is the first run for this video, and I'm continuing my search for an everlasting gaze. Did this first run drop the unique? No. What will come first? 200 tier 11 plus maps, or an everlasting gaze? Let's find out. On run 3, 45 minutes in, we find a Widow Hail. Oh ho ho. Later that run, we find an Arvil's Wheel. Ho ho ho.
Ancient power.
Also, a Dodri's Tenure. Ho ho ho.
A storied artifact.
On run 11, 2 hours and 28 minutes in, we find a Divine Orb. The average time I spent per map is 10 minutes and 20 seconds. On run 42, 9 hours and 53 minutes in, we kill a map boss. Does it drop a legendary? No. On run 46, 10 hours and 33 minutes in, we find a Divine Orb. Later that run, we find a Pillar of the Caged God. Ho ho ho! We also kill a map boss. Does it drop a legendary? No. On run 68, 15 hours and 22 minutes in, we find a white Azure Amulet. Does the Orb of Chance turn it into an everlasting gaze? No. No. On run 69, 15 hours and 31 minutes in, we find a white Azure Amulet. Ho ho ho! Does Orb of Chance turn it into an everlasting gaze? No. No. On run 72, 16 hours and 5 minutes in, we find the Amortan. Ho ho ho!
A storied artifact.
The slowest time it took me to complete a map was 19 minutes and 22 seconds. On run 76, 16 hours and 47 minutes in, we find a Midnight Braid. Ho ho ho!
Ancient power.
Damn! On run 99, 21 hours and 33 minutes in, we find a Widow Hail. Ho ho ho! Legendary, baby! Widow Hail. A perfect Widow Hail. On run 108, 23 hours and 4 minutes in, we have a Moment of Zen. Is there an everlasting gaze? No. On run 114, 24 hours and 9 minutes in, we find a white Azure Amulet. Does Orb of Chance turn it into an everlasting gaze? No. On run 121, 26 hours and 2 minutes in, we find a white Azure Amulet. Does Orb of Chance turn it into an everlasting gaze? No. On run 150, 30 hours and 42 minutes in, we find an Inferno Clasp. Ho ho!
This has a history of its own.
Later that run, we find a Belly of the Beast. Oh!
Garukan favors me. Ancient power.
On run 154, 31 hours and 25 minutes in, we find a white Azure Amulet. Oh ho! Does Orb of Chance turn it into an everlasting gaze? No. On run 157, 31 hours and 48 minutes in, we find the Immortan. Ho ho!
This has a history of its own.
The fastest time it took to complete a map was 2 minutes and 51 seconds. On run 159, 32 hours and 15 minutes in, we find a Birth of Fury. Oh.
This has a history of its own.
Later that run, we find an Atsax site. On run 161, 32 hours and 34 minutes in, we find a Divine Orb. Oh. On run 162, 32 hours and 47 minutes in, we find a Sanguine Diviner. Oh. Later that run, we find a Dust Vigil. Oh.
Treasure.
Also, an Oak Swarm. Ho ho ho!
A storied artifact.
On run 178, 35 hours and 22 minutes in, we kill a map boss. Does it drop a legendary? Ho ho ho! And Atzzeeeeee's Disdain.
Ancient power.
On run 182, 36 hours and 4 minutes in, we find a White Azure Amulet. Oh! On Azure Amulets! Baby! Will this turn into an everlasting gaze? No. No. Damn it! On run 188, 36 hours and 51 minutes in, we have a moment of Zen. Is there an everlasting gaze? No. No. On run 189, 37 hours and 1 minute in, we find a Wonder Trap. Oh.
This has a history of its own.
On run 195, 37 hours and 58 minutes in, we find a double legendary drop. Ho! A Mist Whisper. Also, an Inferno Clasp.
A storied artifact.
On run 199, 38 hours and 36 minutes in, we kill a map boss. Does it drop a legendary? No. Later that run, we find a Splinter Heart. Oh! I guess I hit 200 maps before finding an Everlasting Gaze. This is the distribution of maps that I ran, which took a total of 38 hours, 45 minutes, and 8 seconds, which also includes failing 49 maps in addition to completing the 200. Unfortunate.